Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Lynn and I'm Pretty Papercrafts 67, and I have been playing with distress ink and watercolour now for a couple of weeks, and I am really enjoying the process. I'm just basically doing backgrounds, and I've been trying them on watercolour paper and printer paper. Yeah, and I don't have a lot of distress inks and things, so I'm just blending colours, and I'm very, very happy with the results. It's just giving me that little bit of, I don't know, freedom. I'm not sort of set to any plan, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying that just creative process that has finally kind of sort of come back. So fingers crossed that it just increases all the time. So I thought today, just because I really just enjoy playing with the watercolours and the distress inks, that we might decorate a tag. And I'll just show you some of the methods that I use just to build up those background layers. So I'm going to use this tag that I've cut to shape, and this is just a watercolour paper, and it's not an expensive brand. I think it's a Papercrafts, actually. I bought it at the Papercrafts store. So it's not a thick weight and it's not anything flash, but for me, being not so much a beginner in this technique, but you know, I'm trying to hone my skills a bit. So I'm not going to spend big money on expensive watercolor paper at the moment. So I'm going to pop these away because I won't need those. It was just to give you, I should really show you through those. Yeah, it's just different colours, and I don't have gesso, so I'm using just white acrylic paint. I'm using various stencils, some hand stamping. I think on this one, instead of acrylic paint, I used soft pastels just to blend it and mute it. This here is all watercolour. There's no distress ink on this one at all, so that's all watercolour. This one here is just on printer paper, and that's distress ink and a bit of watercolour and hand stamping. And this one's a bit of a hot mess. I don't even know what to do with that one at this stage. So yeah, I'm probably not going to use all these techniques. And bear in mind, as you know, I don't know how, haven't learned, I'm slack, how to edit. So there may be some stages through the video that I've got to use the heat gun, and I'll try and make those really quick. So I thought we just might sort of model this one off of this one, and we'll get started. So I've already done the background, and I've done the background in advance because of the drying time. So this is just a combination of Distress Oxide Forest Moss, and I've used the Distress Oxide Fossilized Amber. I think those two work really nicely together. So we want those. Now, where did I put my stamps? Give me a minute. Here they are. So I've just got some random stamps, and I think I've got either a text or music, and I do like the music, and that's just, I think, a Papercrafts stamp, so nothing flash there. Or I have used in the past the script stamp, but I think I'll go for the music notes. And all I'm going to do, you've seen it, this is not new. I am learning off other creators. Please excuse my squeaky chair. I am learning off other creators. I'm learning off, I'm watching a lot of Tim Holtz. I've actually just treated myself. It was my birthday a month or so ago, and I was given some birthday money, so I have just treated myself to a set of the Tim Holtz watercolour pencils. So I'm excited about that. But I'm going to start off just stamping some of the music notes, and I'm just going to use the VersaFine, I think it's like a permanent ink, so because I'll be using water, it won't affect it. I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and I'm just basically going to place it down in areas. Just make sure I've got it right. So I'll do this first off. No particular order, just putting it down in places. Get that a bit more, just like that sort of thing, and that's as simple as I want that to be. I don't want it to be completely covered over, so I can pop those away now. All right, so what I want to do next is I want to kind of give it a bit of a border, And I'm just going to use, I've got the Derwent watercolour pencils. I've had watercolour pencils for years and years, and I drag them out and put them away and drag them out and put them away. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm just going to kind of in areas frame my tag. I am kind of using a bit of a heavy hand without being too heavy. The watercolour pencil does help it to sort of it smooths the lead a little bit, so that's what I'm sort of looking for. So I'm just going to sort of do just some markings throughout it. Nothing real, just scribbling basically. That's all I want to do, is a bit of scribble, and that will just frame it out for me. Now I'm going to grab my watercolour pen. I've had this for years. I love this thing. I don't often like to put a cup of water on my table because I had an incident about 6 weeks ago now. I had my cup of water on the table and I knocked it and it went over my computer and broke my computer. So I like the water pen, and all I'm doing is I'm not being careful by any means. I am just taking that watercolour pencil and I am just, doing this. Spreading that watercolour pencil around my tag. Now it will dry lighter, and this I'm just going to sort of grab some and pull it into the middle just to give it a little bit of sort of, patterning or whatever you might call that through the middle. Just some shadow. A lot of that's going to be covered up because we're going to put a focal point in the middle of our tag. So we'll start off with that. I've also got a little bit of fossilized amber here on a block, and I'm just going to bring a little bit of that color in as well. It will blend quite nicely with the black. I'm not trying to be neat at all, just having a bit of fun. So I'll bring that color in and it will just sort of tone into those backgrounds a bit. I don't even mind having a bit of white, because white kind of gives it that contrast, I suppose. It gives it a bit of a highlight. All right, so that's that done. Now what I want to do, I just want to do a little bit of stamping. What I'm trying to do is build up some layers on my tag. So I love this darkroom door stamp. This is a texture stamp and it's called Harlequin. Really love it. I got this from the ladies at Witchcraft Do You Do. I've used it a lot. I haven't cleaned it from my last time because with this one I used it with the fossilized amber. But this time I want to bring some more of the moss green, or the forest moss rather, back in. So I'm not going to clean it because you never know, I might pick up a little bit of the fossilized amber as I'm stamping. So I'm just going to go straight over that with the forest moss, and again, just random places, nothing special. I'm just going to lay it down, and it just gives it that little bit of texture again on top of what we've already done. Put a tiny bit down here, and we'll go a bit up there. Now if you look closely, I have used a stencil. When I was doing my background, I used this stencil, and if you really look, you can see that there's some circles in the background from using that stencil rather. And all I did was just wipe some distress ink or the distressed oxide over it, spritz it with a bit of water and laid it down. So that's a really simple technique, and we'll kind of do something with that in the coming weeks. So I'll just pop that one away now. Okay, so I like that. I like that a lot, but I'm just going to kind of just hit some of these areas that I've just stamped in this Harlequin print stamp, whatever. And I'm just going to sort of spread that ink out just a little bit to give it that watercolored look. I'm not going to do it in every one. Again, just kind of building up some background texture, and yeah, something a bit different. So like I said, I'm not going to hit every one of them. just randomly here and there. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now I am going to grab the heat gun, and I am sorry about the noise. I'll try and be really quick. I just want to dry off that water just a bit. It won't take much. And that will do it. And that's not completely dry, but it's dry enough so I'm not going to smudge it. All right, so that's what we've got so far. Just some, we've done some stamping. I've done some distress inking in the background, and I've used some watercolor pencil just to frame it out a bit. All right, so now what I want to use, these are a Tim Holtz lettering stencil, and I have used them in the past where I've just basically cut them in half and added them into my ephemera stacks, but today I'm going to use it as a stencil, so I'm going to sort of place it, I don't know which side do I want to place it on. I've done it on that side and this one. So yeah, let's just stick to the original idea, and I'm just going to lay that down sort of straight, if I can get it straight, sort of close to that one edge. And again, with my watercolor pencil, I am just going to kind of outline the stencil a bit, and again, not particularly being careful, just sort of like, yeah, roughly going around each number like that. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops. Just like that sort of thing. And then I'm just going to add just a tiny touch. This black is very black. So once you hit it with a bit of water, it can get quite dark, but I want to sort of keep it more like this one is like more of a shadow. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of color in there, but what we already have got there will pick up with the water brush really well. So just that sort of thing, and then I'm going to come back in with my water brush. I'm not going to use a whole lot of water, but enough for it to sort of blend. And then I'm just going to, this is probably where I am a little careful because I just want to keep in those lines, and I'm just going to color in basically with my watercolor pencil and my water brush, just like that. So excuse me if I go a bit quiet. I'm just concentrating a little bit. So yes, I am very, very excited to get my watercolor pencils. I have contemplated buying a set of these for a long time now, but I think there are six sets available now. I think that new set was just released or not very long ago. So I didn't know which set to buy. I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I think I decided to, I can't remember now, it's either set number 4 or set number 6. So it'll be a bit of a surprise when it comes in the mail, but I'm very excited because from what I've seen, what you can do with these watercolor pencils, the color pigment, it's just beautiful. So I'm very excited to receive them. So that's I'm pretty happy with that, but there's just a few areas that I just want to put a bit more black in. So I'm just going to go to my watercolor pencil with my water brush and just sort of pick up a bit of ink and just dab it sort of around here and there, just to sort of make some like high and low areas. Once it dries off, there'll be a bit of shadow kind of thing. I'll put a little bit more water on that water brush. And back to my 5. Just like that sort of thing. All right, so again, guys, I'm just going to use the heat tool and just really quickly dry that off. I'm sorry if this is annoying. I'm talking a little bit louder, so hopefully you can still hear me. But I'll just do this really quickly, as quickly as I can. And if you find when you're working with watercolor, if you find that there's an area that's just a little bit too much water, you can simply just dab it off just like that. And you can even come back and I just want to spread that outline out just a bit more. All right, so I'm happy with all of that at the moment. Now what I'm going to do, I'm still trying to build up some layers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm bringing back in the circle stencil. And I'm going to pick a colour. All I've got out on the table at the moment is browns and black. I've put blue, but I don't want to put blue in there. So let's just go with this brown. This is a Copper Beach. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I'll grab a bit of paper. I sort of want something yeah, we might go for that one because it sort of might tone in with the fossilized amber a little better. Who knows? Who knows what we'll get? I'm just going to dab that a little more because it's still a bit wet. And I'm just going to lay the stencil over the entire tag. And I'm just, again, going to pick out random areas and I'm just going to colour in with my watercolour pencil for no reason, picking areas. That sort of thing. And I'm not going to sort of saturate the whole tag. I'm just, yeah, putting a few bits here and there. I think that would do. So then I'm just going to colour again, fill in the circles with the watercolour pencil. And again, this is just to add just a little bit more interest, a little bit more texture. It's going to clean off my water brush to make sure I've got no black on there. And again, I'm just going to come in and just spread that sort of watercolour pencil around just to make some circles. Just like that. Like I said, nothing rocket science-y, just, yeah, having some fun. All right, so now that I'm pretty happy with that. I have used on this on this one some I use spack filler, but I don't know if you can see that. What is it, embossing paste? So I've used some of that through a stencil. I have also used on this one some white acrylic paint to blend it all together. But on this one, I'm thinking we might just use the pastel, the soft pastel, and I've just got white, and I'm not going to hit it up. I wonder if that's dry. That might not be quite dry yet, so I'll grab the heat gun. Just give that one final dry off. Again, I apologise for the noise. If that offends you, you don't like it, I do apologise. Alright, so now I'm just going to take a bit of this and I'm just going to kind of go in areas, no reason, and I'm just sort of like blending all of that together just a bit. And I'm just going to come in with my finger and just toning it down, sort of making it all look a little bit cohesive. Just like that. That's just enough for me. It's just sort of, yeah, mutes the colours slightly without taking them completely away. All right, so that is basically what I want for my background. What else? I don't think I want to do anything else. I think I'm quite happy with that. We will ink around the edges. Bring in another colour, a darker brown. And I might just go around again with my black watercolour pencil just to kind of define the edges. They're shadowing the outline a bit. I'll do that. And then I'll grab my black watercolour pencil and just go over in random spots again. Just highlighting that black edge a bit more. These ones I'm just going to leave as they are. I'm not going to blend them through. And just sort of leave it like that. Now I've just done some random, on my focal piece, all I have done is I've grabbed some random bits of paper. I've got a ticket, some music papers, some old brown lunch bags, some, this is just toilet paper actually that I was doing some embossing, and I've just stitched them all together with a really messy stitch. And I kind of want to put that as my focal piece, and I'm gonna just offset it just a little bit. I know we don't see any of the dots, but this way we can always come back in. Yeah, I might have to do it sort of around about there. We can always come back in with the stencil once that's stuck down and put some more dots. So we'll stick that down first of all. I'm just going to use art glitter glue, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the back of this ticket. The rest of it I don't want to stick down heavy because I just want it to have that kind of floating effect. So we'll just sort of offset that a bit from that strip of numbers. Put that down like that. Now I'll just come back in with my stencil and I'll just sort of, I don't know, just put some more circles around the place a bit. Put some over our cluster, a bit like that. Bring a bit up here. Just playing, just having a bit of fun. Up there. Oh, I don't know. A bit there. It really is kind of a surprise to see what you get. Okay, so we'll pick that up, and then once again I'll just come in with the water brush and just blend in those circles a little bit. Just like that sort of thing. So they're there, but they're hidden, sort of, you won't even probably, well, you'll see them, but you know, it's just, for me, it's all about regaining some confidence, regaining some skills, because I have been quite off the rails. If you follow me, you'll know that my creativity went walkabout, and finally it's returned home. So in a way, in a sense, and I find I'm enjoying this process of not having a stringent method, you know, ephemera or junk journals or whatever. This is just a bit of fun, and then I can make it as a tag, or I can use it in my art journal book. So that I'm pretty happy with. And then all I've done is, on some watercolor paper, I have hand stamped a couple of autumn leaves in, again, the two colors, the fossilized amber and the, the forest moss, both in the distress ink. So I'm going to put those down, and I'm not even going to distress the edges on this. So I'm just going to lay that one there, and I'm going to lay this one facing the other way. Again, I have stamped those images onto the watercolor paper. I don't know if I said that. So we'll just put it like that. And then I've used candied apple, I think it is. Candied apple oxide again. And I've stamped the butterfly, and I'm kind of just going to put that right in the center. Now, do I want a bit of cheesecloth in behind that? I've got a little bit of, yeah, I think that's cute. So we'll put a little bit of cheesecloth behind our butterfly. So we'll put a bit of glue down there to stick our cheesecloth onto, and we'll put our butterfly on top of the cheesecloth. And again, I'm not going to be sticking it right down because I want it to kind of look like it's floating, that kind of thing. And then I've just got a little sentiment. This is a Tim Holtz one again. I don't even know the name of them, but yeah, there's quite a lot in the little set. And this one says, "A little magic can take you a long way." So I'm just going to ink up the edges of the sentiment. And then I'm kind of just going to put that around about there, I think. I don't want to put it. Yeah, I'm just going to go with my original idea. And just sort of offset that one and pop that one down about there. Like that. And there you have it. Just a really simple little tag idea. Just playing with some paint and some distress ink and some stamps and some bits and pieces. All stuff that I had in my stash, and there you have it. There's a little tag, and then I can use that in a page in my art journal. Make a feature out of the tag in my art journal. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this has been interesting. If you are wanting to have a dabble with watercolor and distress ink, don't be frightened. Just get in and play, because sometimes I have thrown many of my trials away, but just sometimes something will stick and it turns out to be a happy surprise. All right, guys, please enjoy your day. Please stay safe and well, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.